This is Mid-Atlantic Women in Agriculture's Wednesday webinar, Figuring Out Facebook Pages. Our presenter today is Michelle Walfred, Communications Specialist with University of Delaware. All archived presentations, along with all upcoming presentations, can be found at our website. And a special thank you to our sponsor, Mid-Atlantic Farm Credit. Thank you for listening.
A long time ago, someone told me, I'm not even going to bother with a website. I just have a Facebook page. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I can reach everybody. Well, those bread and butter days are gone. If you've had a Facebook page from a long time ago, you've noticed things are drastically different. And so now Facebook pages are a little bit, I would say a lot more challenging, depending on how long you've had your page, whether if you're Starbucks or Oreo or Nike or you have a national brand, your Facebook page has always done well and will continue to do well. But for small businesses, nonprofits, cooperative extension, or if you're selling things retail but you're not the volume of a national brand, Facebook page can be really challenging. Facebook does, however, it is the Mac Daddy, as they say, of social media. Platforms, it is the most popular, it is the most widely viewed, it has a global audience, and businesses are turning to Facebook, but they're using it now a little bit differently than when they first started out using it. You might hear from some teens or younger millennials, oh, Facebook is not where it's at. Maybe not for that age group. Younger people, college students, they're using, so you need to know who your audience is. By far, they're on Facebook, they have Facebook accounts, they're just not telling you they do, or they're not using it as much. They are using Instagram, they are using Snapchat for younger. All right, can you hear me? Okay, some people say they can't hear me. Do you need me to make it a little louder? I can adjust my volume as well. Let me just try and do that. Can you hear me now? Lost it. All right, can you hear me? Somebody say yes. Oh, good. Okay. So there's two kinds of personal accounts. This should be common knowledge. On a personal account, you control the privacy. So you sign in with your email, you create a password, and what you have on your newsfeed or the people that you're interacting with are your friends or your family. And what you see in your news feed are what your friends are doing, the trips they're taking, their new grandchild, etc., etc. What appears in your news feed is not what you think. It's not everybody. I guarantee you're not seeing everything your friends are saying. Facebook has changed this. They are now, and they do this with pages as well. But I just want to say that on a personal account, you are interacting with friends. When you have a business account, we're going to call, and I will interchange these terms, business or a fan page. This is where you've set up a completely separate page to represent your business, your cause, your organization, etc. All content that you post is public. So if somebody outside of on Google that isn't even on Facebook can search that information. It is public. It's in the cloud. You access your business page through your personal account, and this is where some people get confused. Some people say, well, I don't want to be on Facebook. I don't want to share my stuff. You have to have a personal account in order to access a business page, but as soon as you access the business page, your personal account is pushed off to the side. So if you run a business page for your church, for your school, for your farm, for your extension county office, they are not going to see anything about you at all. It is completely separate. The personal account is strictly the gateway into a business page, and from then on, it is completely separate from your personal account. But you need to have that to get in. Your fans will see a limited amount of what you post. This is shocking news to people, and I'm going to tell you something. Get over the like thing. Get over it. Like my page, like my post. It's not the most important thing at all. You could have 1,000 page likes and only 20 people are seeing what you're writing. And that's very, very frustrating. And that's what's happening now with Facebook pages. If you have a page where someone has to friend you, then you've created your page incorrectly. There is a handout at the end of this that will tell you a long time ago people didn't know how to create pages, so they created another Facebook account. And so it was, there's one newspaper in our area where you have to actually friend it. So if you're looking at a business account and you have to friend it, they've done it wrong. And you don't want to friend a business, because then they can look at you. Once you've friended me, you can see where I was born, my date of birth, you can wish me happy birthday. Well, I don't necessarily, I want to like all these business pages, but I don't want them seeing my personal information. And that's what happens when you become a friend. So if you know of a page, or you have a page where it's been set up like a personal account, that needs to be converted, and you can do that so that you don't lose all your information. So we'll talk about that. There's a handout on that, on how to do that. There are page roles. I recommend that, and I say manager or administration going forward. I'm going to use all these people I would consider they had administration roles of different levels. Make sure you have at least 2 major administrative or manager roles. Why is that? Very simple. You know, if your Aunt Edna is running the account and the Lord takes Aunt Edna away, or something happens to her, then you're stuck. You cannot get access to that. And anybody who's tried to work with Facebook customer service, you can't pick them up and say, hey, I need the password for this. So make sure, if you're an extension page and you have, say, a Master Gardener volunteering to put content on, actually, I'm not too much groups today, but we can talk about it if we have time. But that's another great option. But for pages, if you've got a volunteer or somebody working on that, make sure that there is an owner or a major proprietor, owner, stockholder, a cooperative extension agent. Somebody else should have that page administrative role, because they're the ones that can delete the page. They're the ones that can add and remove other people. So if you're leaving it up to one, you're asking for trouble, because things happen. So then this is just another look at the other roles, and they graduate. So it's sort of like, if you're familiar with WordPress, there's different roles. You can be a contributor, you can be an editor. You'll hear a lot about algorithms, and what they are is they're a set of rules that used to be called a page edge rank. But what Facebook does, and here's how it works. You're looking at your news feed, and you see something from, I'll use Delaware 4-H as an example. So do you see something, a news comes on across your page as Delaware 4-H, and you go, oh, that's nice. But you just keep moving on. You want to see what's on CNN, or you want to see what your friends are saying. You see my page, you see what I posted, but you don't do anything with it. You just kind of look at it and smile. But you haven't interacted with my page. Facebook goes, their algorithms go tick, 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 tick. Huh. She wasn't interested in Delaware 4-H, so we're not going to show her as much. So what they're doing is they're tracking your audience behavior. What does your audience like? What does your audience skip over? And then it begins to deliver what they think that audience member wants to see. And this happens with your friends too. So all of a sudden I stopped seeing things that my cousin was posting. I just stopped seeing things, and I went on to her timeline, and there it all was. She wasn't blocking me. I just hadn't been commenting or saying, oh, he's cute, or oh, that was great. I wasn't interacting with her, so Facebook started to filter it out. You want to call it filtering or censoring. It's not blocking it per se, but they are making a decision based on your past behavior with that particular account. So with your new algorithms, if you're managing a page at any level, these are the things you want to do. You want to vary your post types, vary the times. So by post types, I mean a photo, a link, a video, a question possibly, the different kinds of content that you could put on. Vary the times, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to know which is the best time. You need to comment on other stories as your page. You need to know how to skip from being you on the page to being your page completely by itself, where your page can navigate around Facebook and like and comment. We'll show you how to do that. You want to thank your supporters. You want to congratulate people. You want to tag other pages. So when we do a partnership with the Food Bank of Delaware, we're not just going to say thank you, Food Bank of Delaware, for helping. We're going to tag them, because then the Food Bank of Delaware is going to get a little ting on their end saying, oh, Cooperative Extension has mentioned you. So we've got to become more social and more strategic, and we have to start interacting with other pages, businesses, elected officials. I've already talked about multiple content editors. That's important. You can also pin important stories to the top. So if you don't want to pay for an ad, but you want to make sure that something is seen and doesn't get buried into the timeline, you can pin it to the top temporarily. You can use hashtags. This varies. People say don't use hashtags on Facebook. Do. You certainly can. You don't want to overdo it. We'll talk about that. Make sure you complete your page profile. Are the directions there? Your hours, your phone number, your website. Keep this up to date. And you want to adopt trends or trending topics when they apply to your business. If it's snowing like crazy and people are using, in Delaware, we would use hashtag SnowDE, maybe it's SnowMD or SnowNJ for New Jersey, and you're selling snow shovels, then you want to get on board with that, and you want to adopt that hashtag and get on that trend if it relates to you. The main thing you should never do, and this is the don't column, do not ask people to like your page on Facebook. You can put a sign up outside your business saying like us on Facebook. That's fine. On Facebook, don't say please like our page, please share our page, please comment. Don't overlay that text on a photograph. You will be penalized. Facebook is able to zero out these words. They have text recognition. Your content will be penalized, which means your content will not be delivered to as many people as it normally would. Don't ignore your page. Oh, don't post the same link. For instance, so I manage Delaware 4-H. I manage Cooperative Extension for Delaware. I'm not always just going to put University of Delaware links down. I'm going to mix it up, because this is what Facebook wants us to do. They want us to be a community of people. They want us to be social with each other. Do not link your Facebook to your Twitter or your Twitter to your Facebook. In fact, this was drummed into my head during my classes. It was a $2,200 course. They kept saying, do not do it. It is lazy social media. It may seem like a time management thing to you, and in some respects it is, but your audiences on Twitter are completely different than your audiences are on Facebook or are on Instagram. And what happens is, if you're linking them all automatically, your people who follow you on Twitter are going to say, well, I'm not going to follow them anymore. I'm just getting it all already on Facebook, so I don't need to be following them. You need to cater your content to your audiences, and your audiences are different on these different platforms. And don't ignore comments. Target was in the news last month. It was actually really hysterical. They had a lot of they actually had fun with this themselves. But Target made a decision to get rid of their boys and girl aisles in their stores. They just now have toy section. This got misconstrued in social media as they're taking away girl toys and boy toys, and they were going to blend them all as unisex toys. That did not happen. That's not what they were doing. They did the same thing with linens. So in other words, if you're going in, you'll see children's linens, and you're going to see the stars and the robots and the planets mixed up with the flowers and the little girls and things like that. So they just weren't, they were just, that's what they were doing. So this guy comes in, and so all these people started coming on saying, oh, I'm boycotting Target. This is terrible. You shouldn't be doing this. And this guy comes on, this man here, he created an account called Ask for Help. Because you can go in and create a personal account on Facebook. You've heard of clones, so there could be more Michelle Walfreds. There could be several of me. So someone created Ask for Help. They downloaded the Target logo, and they started just telling all their customers in so many words, go blank yourself, or we don't care what you think. Your opinions mean nothing to us. And then this created a complete outrage. So the phones were going off the hook at Target. They didn't know. They were completely blindsided by this, because this guy, and it was all over the news, started commenting to all these people who had concerns about the decision that Target made. The Target people, they were not paying attention. Their social media manager was asleep at the wheel here. They have since gone in and created a Target. This is the blue thing which tells you it's the real deal, and now they've started to respond to their customers with the official blue check. They had a little fun with this. They got a lot of attention for it, but you do need to pay attention to your comments. Your Facebook engagement is weighted. Now this is a copy of Delaware news feeds. If you went on to Delaware 4-H, as I do, this would be what comes across the news feed. You may or may not get all of these, but when and you'll see here what people do. They can like it, they can comment, or they can share. Liking is the most used, and it's the least valuable to you. So if your employees, if your friends, if your colleagues are liking what you say, well, that's nice, but it's really not helping you at all. If they comment, if I could get these, I had here, I posted this, Ginger, 1, 2, 3, and 8 others, so 11 people. If those 11 people said, way to go, or awesome, or congratulations, it doesn't matter how long it is. They need to comment. That is more valuable. That is going to boost your Facebook engagement rates, and it's going to change the algorithms. The other thing that happens, if you're on your personal page, do you ever notice that you see what your friends are doing? Sure you do. So all of a sudden, other people who are not even fans of your page, there are people here who aren't in Delaware 4-H, don't know what Delaware 4-H is, but when these people start to comment, their friends see it. So it's a way of getting exponential exposure. And the very, very best thing you can do is to get your comment shared. For getting people to go, this was awesome, I need to share it. And this is the bottom line. Is the content that you're putting up on your page shareable? If you're just going to look at it and smile and go, isn't that nice? You're not really helping your page any. You need to get your audience sharing your content, or at least commenting. So this is called engagement. And this is what Facebook is all about. They will tell you they want to see a community. They want to see us interacting with each other. They also want to buy, they want us to buy to boost our posts. So this is like why Throwback Thursday is so popular, because people love old photos. They tend to share them, and they'll tag them. when you, how we get it is just completely but the responsibility for your audience engaging is going to be on you. Now here's the problem, and here's the challenge with it. So let me go on here. You're reading that right. This is very, very, very frustrating. You have 1,000 people liking your page. So they've taken the trouble to go to your site to like your page. They had an initial interest. Okay? Somewhere along the line, they started seeing your stuff and they weren't doing anything about it. They were just smiling, maybe smiling to themselves. Maybe some of them liked it. If you like it, so let's just go back and let's just use Anne for an example. So if Anne is if she's on her news feed and she sees this post come across her news feed because she's liked the page, so she had an initial interest in Delaware 4-H, and she likes it, and she liked the page, and maybe she likes a comment, and she might see therefore Facebook goes tick tick tick, Ann Zander likes Delaware 4-H, so we'll show her some Delaware 4-H stuff. But if she continues to see Delaware 4-H stuff and kind of pass it on and not do anything with it, Facebook will determine that Anne no longer is interested in Delaware 4-H. She still likes the page, but she's not going to see it in our news feed anymore. And now Delaware 4-H has lost Anne. She likes our page still, but she's not seeing our stuff anymore. And how is she going to see our stuff if she's not even seeing it in her news feed? Facebook is filtering out. They are censoring what you're putting out. So what you need to do is don't be predictable. You need to change up how you're delivering material. And honestly, you may need to boost a couple of times your best posts or something you think is super, super interesting. You may want to pay to have it boosted, and we'll talk about that. But what you post matters. You need to start putting out content that resonates with your audience. So this is an old shot, but I wanted to show you. This is back when Cooperative Extension started their Facebook page in 2013, and we had 179 people liked our page. So I should be typically hoping to see 179 comments, or maybe even half of those. And you will look that 582 people saw it. Now, how did that happen? Well, it happened, one, because I tagged Betsy was tagged. So all of a sudden that shows up on her timeline. Her friends see it. 35 people liked the post. 7 people commented on it, which helped grow this number. And 1 person shared it. It was probably Betsy may have shared it to her friends. So what you need to do is start putting content with happy, smiling people. Anybody who can be tagged. You might not do it as a page, but their friends will tag it. So I think she tagged herself, because actually I can't go in as a business and tag a person because I'm not friends with that person. So she tagged herself here. You want to start putting in content that people are going to get excited about. And just think to yourself, is this something I would share? If it's not, then rethink what you're putting down. And I will tell you, nobody wants to hear, come in on Saturday, it's 20% off. Come in on Saturday, it's 15% off. Here's what we're doing. Here's on sale. That is boring, 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 boring. You need to really mix this up, and you have to start being creative. So here's some examples. Well, first of all, which photo is better? The kids, yeah. Here's our apple. Now I took both of these photographs. That's a very beautiful, and I could do something artsy with that later. So, I could go ahead and post that, and it would probably be okay. And if you were a giant Apple fan, you'd probably would like it. But I might post something like this. It says, just look at the expressions, of these kids having a good time. Plus their moms and their aunts and their cousins are all going to see it and share it and like it. So that's an example of making a choice, a strategic choice to promote apples. This is the Delaware Department of Agriculture is now doing this really cool thing where they say we want to celebrate farms on Fridays. So they're doing a little campaign called Farm Friday, and they're asking their readership, their view audience, to submit photographs. They're not giving away a prize. They're just saying, you know, we're going to feature it for you. You'll get some recognition. So this has taken off. I've contributed to it. This isn't my photo, but 55 people like this, plus these people, which is pretty good. It's had 13 shares and starting to get some comments. This has really taken off. So this is a smart way of getting people engaged. And it's just one way. I love this. This is Pepper's Greenhouse, and these are old shots, but they'll do a question. It's like, what is this plant? In honor of the beautiful weather, what do you think this is? And this one had 9 comments when I snapped it. I think it had many more after that, but people start guessing what that is. Oh, that's a butterfly bush, or that's a wigula, or that's a this. And they let that go for a while. My favorite is during the snowstorm. They got out their 4-inch pots, their trays, and they said, we are now selling 4-inch pots of snowballs, call for availability. It's just, to me, it was just a very clever thing to do. They had a lot of fun with it. So you don't want to just drone on about policy. You don't want to be down, always showing fact sheets. You have to give your page a little bit of a personality. If you've got multiple people managing it, you need to all get together and have a meeting on what your voice, your tone of your page ought to be. But you want to start forcing people to comment. So let me show you another example. This one I love. This is brilliant. Reblinged is a vintage. They sell mostly 95% of their business is repurposed jewelry, and they sell some repurposed home decor. So they're like an antique store, used store. So what's this got to do with jewelry? Absolutely nothing. They're giving photo credit. I would have liked to have seen Better Homes and Gardens spelled out. I'm a big stickler for giving credit, but you can use somebody else's photo. Go right ahead. They're saying list 2 things you love about this kitchen and 1 thing you don't care for. And look at the number of people who liked it. Look at the shares. When I took this screenshot, there was, and this was fairly recent, 174 comments. This has nothing to do with vintage jewelry. This is asking, what is it doing? It's pulling, it's not forcing, but it's encouraging people, because everybody has an opinion. Oh, I don't like white cabinets, I like oak cabinets, or whatever. Everybody's different. It's an opportunity to express yourself, and it's quite honestly just a clever technique forcing people to give that level 2 comment. Some people might actually, it's had 28 shares, so somebody has sent this on and said, this is the kind of kitchen I want. So you can pull information from other sources. So you can grab a photograph if it's semi-related to what you do as a business. Yes, you should. You do not, I normally give, unless it's copyrighted, you don't want to go to a photographer. Most of the photographers love you to share their stuff, but if it's on the internet, you can put it on as long as you give credit for it and you're not saying it's yours. The other thing you want to do is you can go to Creative Commons, and those you can download for free, but even those you always want to give attribution. There may be a lawyer out there that says no. Everybody does it. We share USDA content. We share. I'll show you what we've shared. We've done a couple things. So let's just go on. You want to create original content, so you can overlay Creative Commons images with your own text and quotes. We'll show how that. Here's a website for creativecommons.org. There's also a mobile app called WordSwag, which lets you put on really cool quotes. So you could quote of something Einstein said, or something that Gandhi said, or anything you want to do over a pretty farm scene, and you kind of make it unique. You want to create infographics, and here are some sources for creating infographics. I'll show you what that is. Here's an example. This is Reblinged again, the jewelry sales. She had this picture of Marilyn Monroe, and they overlaid that quote. Sometimes you just have to throw in a crown and remind them who you're dealing with. So that's kind of clever. Look at the number of shares that had. Nothing to do with her jewelry business, but she's spurring content. She's fostering engagement, and people just get a kick out of it. So this is an example of an infographic. So if you've got a fact sheet and you want people to know, you could possibly think about turning that into an infographic. And usually they're just grids with shapes. And again, the tools here, Canva is great for creating infographics. You can also create them on PowerPoint, and I have a handout to show you how to do that. So you just might want to think of different ways that you can present your information. You have to be a little bit of a psychologist. When I learned in, and this is very important, when I was taking journalism, we were told that we mostly write on a 6th grade level. It's not because people are dumb, but that's just the easiest way to get the most readers. And then people read, when they read papers, they went to the letters to the editors, they went to obituaries, they went to comics and puzzles, and maybe a headline but not read the story, or they went to a specific, like, sports page or something. In social media, people read short posts, and believe it or not, you've all heard about Twitter having 140 characters, and if you notice when you go on Facebook, you can write 2 paragraphs. Don't. Please don't. They're now saying that on Facebook, 80 characters is best. 80 characters. Yes, it's true. So what you could do is put your information on a photograph, on an overlay of a photograph or an infographic, but you don't want to be writing a book on Facebook. People read the headlines, they read other people's comments, and this is where you can take advantage of that. They also want to see videos. Videos rule. Photos, and they see, and they're doing what their friends do. So one thing you want to do is create something like this, and this would be used, generally speaking, this is a content schedule. You can be flexible with this, but sort of have a plan that on Mondays I'm going to put I'm going to feature a type of grape I grow, so I'm going to educate the people. But it could be any combination of this. You don't have to copy this, but people like double consonants, so Wine Wednesday. If you're a creamer, it could be Sugar Cone Saturday. It could be Wedding Wednesdays, where you feature a wedding that's been held at your event venue. So you want to have some kind of a rough plan. And does that mean you have to post every day? So no, one week you might post on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, and the next week you might go Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and leave this blank. You can also schedule posts so that if you're not around to post on Saturday or Sunday, you can schedule that on Facebook fairly easily. You want to be able to share and tag. So here's an example of Delaware 4-H, and Delaware, actually Cooperative Extension posted it, Delaware 4-H shared it, and it was Senator Tom Carper visiting the Food Smart families. If you'll notice what Cooperative Extension did, and this was me in this case, I tagged Senator Carper so that his team would see it. The grant was funded by ConAgra. I wanted to give them a shout out. Now their social media manager's not doing much with this, but I tagged them. I also tagged the University of Delaware, and I tagged the Claymont Boys and Girls Club where this was held. Now I got 159 people reached it. We have 650 people that like Cooperative Extension, Delaware 4-H actually has over 1,000. So out of 1,000, only 159 people saw this. What can you do? That's better than 10%, which is better than normal, which is 2 to 5%. So we tagged it, and one person liked it, so our staff really didn't jump on this and share it like I would have hoped, so we have to do more staff education. So what happened next, because I tagged here, one of those hit, and the one that hit was Senator Carper's team. Now, these our elected officials, they have social media teams, so they know what they're doing. And so he grabbed one of the pictures that we had uploaded, because we had uploaded 9 photographs. He grabbed one and he posted it on his page, which we in turn shared. So this is what Senator Carper shared out, this, tagging Cooperative Extension. And then we turned around and repurposed it again and got another 262 out of it. So this is why you want to tag your partners, tag you put in, for some reason 4-H is tricky, you put that in. You put the little @ sign. When you're typing, you put the @ sign. Now the other thing is you have to like the page you want to tag. It may not show up otherwise. So Delaware 4-H, we like everybody. That page likes all other county 4-H's, it likes other extension pages, it likes its senators and its governors. We're apolitical, we like everybody. Because then when we want to go to tag, we can. And I don't think you have to like, because I don't know that Delaware 4-H actually liked the Claymont Boys and Girls Club, but we might have since. But you tag normally by putting the @ sign in, and it should just pop up. If we have time to go live later, I'll show you how that works. So here's an example of Delaware 4-H, and I just wanted to say this was an old shot. We're over 1,000 now. We had 720 likes, but look at the number of people that reached, 2,757. It was shared a lot, so that our community came in here. We had 75 people liking this. We had comments. We had shares. So when that happens, that's where you get the exponential exposure. So you have to have content that people are going to share. You have to know your insights. So if you are a page manager, you want to go up to your insights, and here it's 3 to 5%. It varies, 2 to 5%. So here is Delaware 4-H. This is a recent screenshot. We have, I think it's 1,200 page likes. And I want you to look at the reach. So out of that 1,200, this is the cold, hard reality of what Facebook is doing. It's not that our posts were bad. It's that nobody saw them. They weren't seeing them. Now, if I boost a page, which I did here for $10, look what happened. I got a big bump in the reach and a big bump in the engagement. You must pay attention to your insights. Why is a post laying flat like this one? Why is this one doing pretty good? And that was because it was a funeral, unfortunately. But we have a completely different reaction. It's all over the place, and it makes it next to impossible to figure out, well, how do I break through this? You need to know who your audience is. So here's our fans on Delaware 4-H. It is, well, of course, you have to be 13 to join 4-H, but look, there's hardly any 4-Hers on here at all. So I'm dealing with maybe collegiate, but I'm dealing mostly here with parents is what I'm dealing with, and mostly women. So if I'm going to post articles about that I think would be targeted to teens, then you would think with 4-H young people that would work. It's not going to happen here. You have to know who your fans are. Now maybe I want to get more men, then I've got to figure out what kind of content I'm going to do to get that You need to have a strategy, but you need to know who's on your page to begin with. You also need to know when are your fans. So these are the 1,000 people, the 1,200 people that like Delaware 4-H. When are they on Facebook? Here's a screenshot. What does this tell you? Can everybody read this okay? When should I, if I've got something important to post, when would I post it? Would I post it at 5:30 in the morning on Tuesday? No. I could post it maybe in the middle of the week around noon, but the big peak time is Friday night, 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. That's when most of this page, I can't say that this is what you should do. You need to look at your insights and find out when are your people on there. I have done some where I've posted something because I work during these times. I post during these times. But I might actually, if enough content is in between, I could definitely repeat something and maybe schedule it for Friday. I mean, I don't want to work on Friday nights at 9 o'clock. I want to go home. But I could schedule it, something important, I could schedule it to hit then. And you don't want to start doing everything Friday at 5 o'clock. You've got to have content throughout the week. But I'm just showing you that in this particular week, this is when people were on our site for 4-H. It might be completely different for an ice cream store or a winery. I've boosted. You would pay $200 or $300 to put a color ad in a local paper. For $10, you can pack in a punch. And we did this a lot with Delaware 4-H. We won $10,000 as a result. We were in a national contest. I went to my director and said, do I have a budget to advertise for this? Because it was a social media contest. And we won. We won $10,000 for our state. This is an example here. This was just an event that we were having. We wanted to promote it. We paid a whopping $10. We got 25 clicks out of it, 7 new page likes. So regardless of whether they went to this ad or not, or did this event, we grew 7 page likes out of it, and we got 30 page likes. So I usually will pick, please reach everybody who likes our page and their friends. That's usually my default. It covers pretty much everybody, and we get a really good reach out of it. So you get a lot of bang for your buck, and it's maybe a smart thing to do if your page has been performing flat. Here's another one. This was, we were having a science day. I spent $20 to promote this event. We were having a STEM. It was a big deal for us. I paid $20. We got, so this was the results. So you get a lot. 3,200 people saw it. We earned another 4 page likes out of it. So this is a new way to get new audiences. You could also do just a straight ad. Facebook does make it very friendly to do that. Of course, they want you to spend money. This was what we did to win this $10,000. We had a it was a social media contest. We spent $60 to win a $10,000. To me, that was a no-brainer. Does the $20 post it longer? You can keep it. You can stretch the amount of days that you want to do it. You can spread that $20 out over a week, or you can let it all hit one day. So it's very user friendly. I tried to advertise on Twitter. No wonder they're not doing so good, because it's impossible to do ads. But I picked up 18 page likes on top of this. So we weren't even asking for people to like the page. It just happened organically as a result of the ad. So it's pretty easy to do. We won it. We won $10,000. We went on and said thank you, and we paid for that. You can go ahead and boost that post. And it does give you a detailed readout. There's a way to get even more information. And people were shared. People were happy. 43 people shared it. Happy people all the way around. You can get engagement, however, without boosting. So here's our cow camp. For some reason, people were in the mood to see news about cows. We got 1,000 likes, or 1,000 reach on that. So this is the people who like and comment. So you want to see these grow. And so you don't, so it was all cows, and people were just in the mood for cows. So this, we did really well without paying. So again, it's the content. This is our agent did this. There were lots of pictures of children. What do you think? Who do you think this was? These were these kids' parents and their relatives on here going, oh look, there's Lisa. Oh look, there's Jaden. And that's what people want to see on Facebook. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. You can look at your likes, and you can know on a specific day that who you're gaining. You're going to drop off occasionally. Here's 3 in a row. Boom, boom, boom. September 13th, 15th, and 18th, we lost 3. But that's okay. We're picking them up as we go. So you want to see that this is going to happen as long as your forward trajectory is going up like this. So this is our page. This is how we were, and this is what you want to see, a nice steady growth up. You're going to lose a little bit. There's a couple little valleys here. That's okay. Don't take it personally. Just keep trying to post interesting content. You want to use your page as your page. Well, what does that mean? You have 3 options. When you sign on to your account, you go over, and probably you're only going to have one, maybe you'll have 2 pages that you manage. So your personal account will be up there, but when you visit your page, your page will recognize you as a manager, and then your comments and your sharing and your posts will be as the page. But what if you want to go in there and like a comment personally? For instance, I manage Delaware 4-H. So but I want to go on there as Michelle Walford and say, way to go, you know, Karen, for winning that award. I can't do it. Yes, you can. So, but there's a trick, and on mobile, it's really hard. This is a big drawback with mobile, is with mobile, the minute you move to your page, it thinks you're the page, and you can't comment on it as a private individual, and that's very frustrating to me. So really, if you're trying to go in and comment as yourself, you really need to do it on a browser. And then you can become your page. And then you personally are removed from the equation altogether. So let me show you how that works. So here's me, Michelle Walford, and I go over to this little arrow by the lock, and there's a drop-down arrow here. And again, this is from a browser. It's going to be really tricky to do with mobile. And it's going to say, use Facebook as, well, I have like a gazillion pages that I contribute to on one level or another. So I don't see the one I want here. I want to go to see more. And I click over, and it starts listing the pages that I have some role in. And a lot of these have been deleted pages. So I want to go in, I want to comment as somebody else. So that's how you do it. And you log in. So what happens is that I become Delaware 4-H. And the way you'll know that this is happening is you will see the icon change. So now I am Delaware 4-H. I am no longer Michelle Walford. And I can now skip off of here, and I can go search Women in Ag, Mid-Atlantic Women in Ag. We should all like that page. I could go in and like the News Journal. I could like Hopkins Ice Cream, Vanderwin's Ice Cream. I could like Turkey Point Vineyard. So I can go in as Delaware 4-H and navigate like I would be if I were a human being. Not only can I navigate and like pages, I can comment now. I can share. And you've got to do this if you've got a page. This is very important. So you go in, number one, you pick the page you want to be. So for instance, I am a volunteer for the Delaware Press Association. I do this at nights and weekends, and we have a team of people who do it. I want to post as DPA, so that I come in, I would log in as that, and then boom, I become Delaware Press Association. So I am no longer Michelle Walford. Now, this looks a little sketchy, and I would like to show you this live if I can. Here I am as Michelle Walford. I want to come in, and I manage Delaware Press Association. Now I want to comment on this as myself. The minute I switch to this page, it becomes this. And it says, if I comment now, I'm going to comment as DPA. So this is what all of you page managers run into. You've gone to the page you manage. You're still who you are up here. But when you get to the page you manage, it thinks you're a page manager now, and it defaults to your page. Well, I don't want to. I want to comment on this story as me. How do I do that? You go up to this little arrow, drop down arrow here, and I can return as myself, and I can make the comment. So I hope you understand that. It's a little tricky, but I could go on here and comment as myself. That's what you need. That's what you need to do. Why would you want to comment? All right. Here's the Delaware Online, which is a news journal. This is the Delaware's biggest paper in the state. And I lost my arrow. Where's my arrow? There it is. Okay. So Delaware Online posted a picture about the Delaware Memorial Bridge being painted green. So if Delaware 4-H wanted to say something, now I didn't enter this, but we could have said we love the green color, we love the green power, green rules, or something like that. Anybody can guess why I'd want to do that? Anybody guessing? Nobody's typing. Okay. The reason, let's just see what people say. There's a strategic reason. Yes, it is. Let's see why. Delaware Online has 80,000 page likes. 80, and what did I say about what people like to read? On papers, they would read obituaries and letters to the editor. Online, people read comments. So here you are. This has nothing really to do with Delaware 4-H, but if it's appropriate to do so, I can make a comment. And look, 60, and so very possibly another 50, 60 people, they might see this and go, oh, Delaware 4-H, I didn't know they had a Facebook page. Oh, I might check them out. Cooperative Extension, for instance. We know Cooperative Extension is fighting childhood obesity. And they're doing it through 4-H, and they're also doing it through Family Consumer Science. So if the News Journal were to write an article about Delaware rates of obesity in the first state, and maybe they didn't consult us, maybe they didn't interview us, instead they went to Nemours and they interviewed a couple doctors and they interviewed the Department of Health and something like that, and they wrote an article about the crisis, and we had nothing to do with that article. They didn't consult us. There's nothing wrong with going on to that article and saying, that was a fantastic article. We're so proud at Extension that we are in the forefront of educating the public about this important issue. What do? It makes you become part of the story. And if thousands of people are reading this and commenting on that, be a part of the conversation. So this is why you want to like other pages and share other pages and compliment them if they've done something right. And all of we have a lot of Extension people here today. If you're on Extension, like other Extension pages, like other states and other counties, see what they're doing and have a conversation. This is the social part of being social on social media. So here's MyPlate. This is one of the things that we've done with MyPlate. This is their page. It's the USDA. But we're going to go on here and we're going to say this looks delicious. We're sharing this. And sure enough, that's what I went and did. So that keeps that dialogue going. So that's the kind of thing you can do when you use your page as your page. And you have to actually step out of who you are and make sure you use that drop-down arrow to turn yourself into your page. This is a little tricky to do on mobile. So it has to be done through a browser. I've had sketchy results with mobile, unfortunately, and everybody's going mobile. This is just another example here. Cooperative Extension. This was a snapshot I took last week. So I just posted this, so this hadn't gotten any reach yet because that was seconds after I posted that recipe. But take a look at what I've done. I had posted this. This has since gone up, but I had 38. But we've got 700 likes on our page, and look what's happening here. It fluctuates all over the place. But look at this one jump. And what did I do? I posted a video of a hummingbird snoring. I saw it on my own personal feed. BBC had this video, and it was just too cute not to share. So I got the link to the video. I went on to UD Cooperative Extension, and then I said, in the not too cute to post category, we offer you, for your viewing pleasure, the snoring hummingbird. And it performed so far the best. It's still performing, so this is not static. Yes, Kathleen, that happens. And what you need to do is there's a way to report it. 4-H is the one I have, the National 4-H. I have such problems with it. It's very tricky to do that. So the only other thing you could do is maybe post their link in. It's not 100% all the time, and it's very frustrating. Here's another example here. This is just showing you limits with the mobile app. Delaware 4-H, if I want to go in, I have to go in. People who are in our organization are liking their own content. When you're on mobile, this is a screenshot of the College of Ag, which I'm a content editor of. On mobile, there's no way for Michelle Walford to like this. None. If I like that, it's going to say UD College of Ag likes its own content. You really shouldn't like your own content. So this is the drawback with mobile. If you're on a browser, now what you can do if you're on a mobile, go to Safari, go to Google Chrome, get into Facebook that way, then you can find that little toggle arrow. I'm going over, darn it. So study other pages and see what works. How do they repeat content? How do they use videos? This is amazing. You want to go, and I don't think we're going to have time. I had it to upload. Go to Kleenex and watch what they do. They do not sell, they storytell. Don't sell it, storytell it. So what you want to do, if you clicked on these videos, you would see this is about a girl, a mother whose child has Down syndrome, and she has a service dog for her dog. I can keep going, and then those of you want to drop off have to drop off, or you can. So I'll keep going. Kleenex. This is so this was the two shots of the same video. I will tell you that they're. Well, let me just show you. So here's an example, and I'm just going to go ahead and show it to you then. So here's the video. This had, I'll go back and check how many likes it had, but just check this out. I want you to, for those of you who are trying to sell something, look how little Kleenex is on here. They have an introduction. And you can do this with your phone. You can create some videos.
A lot of pride in our school.
I take pride in the floors and bathrooms. It's very important for kids to come to a clean school.
He cares about the building, he cares about the teachers, and he cares about the students.
They're kind of like his kids. He brings a smile to their face every single day.
When I see them smiling, it makes my day. I just like it.
Mr. Patton thinks that today we are just doing a profile on the school. We wanted to do something really special to show him how much love we have.
There's a little Kleenex product right there, very little. They're not in your face with it.
I've known him since kindergarten. He is our janitor, he is our friend, he's just the best man ever.
Mr. Patton?
Yes, ma'am.
We need you in the gym. We have a major spill. Can you come quickly, please?
Put them up, I'll be right there.
Thank you.
Oh, gosh.
And there's your Kleenex right there. That's, in the interest of time, I'm going to wrap this up. But you get the gist. They're using the Kleenex.
We thank you for all that you've done for us.
And they give them $1,000 check, and everybody's just wiping. This has had so far almost a half of 343,000 Why did Kleenex do that? They're not in their face with their brand at all. That is shareable. That's a story. So think about how you can tell a story. Is there an employee you can talk about? You can talk about the history of your farm, the history of your grapes, the different kinds of grapes and what they do and how hard they are to grow, or any kind of little vignette. It can be 45 seconds to a minute long. If you know a teenager, they can edit it on their iPhone and put it out on iMovie and put a little background music to it. In fact, I would love to teach a webinar on maybe how to do that on iMovie. It's really fun to do on a mobile device. But this is what you want to tell your stories. So focus on your staff. The Delaware Department of Ag, it was a couple years ago, did one. I guess they have a lot of employees. They did a whole series on Facebook where they focused on the artwork of their employees. So they had employees that were photographers and fine artists and painters, and some people did crafts. And so like every Friday they showed a painting or a sculpture or a craft that one of their employees made, just to say, here's Louise, and this is what Louise did. We want you to meet her, and she works our books, but here today we're introducing you to her in a different way. You have migrant workers. You know, they're important people, and how cool would it be to say, you know, here's Juan, and Juan has been coming to our farm for the past 10 summers, and he and his family, this is how valuable they are to us, and we want to shout them out. So you can do it with a photograph, or you can spotlight a volunteer, a special celebration. Tell a story. Share your values. Your audience will then share it. Makes it shareable. Your posts with images will receive 39% more interaction, and short posts get 23% higher interaction. So in other words, if you're going to talk about an employee, put their photograph up or put a little video up of them and let the video or the photograph tell the story. Don't write 2 paragraphs about that. Maybe controversial. I don't want to offend my potential customers. How do I keep in touch with those other people or businesses if I don't comment on their posts? Let me think about that for a minute. Let me come back to that. Here's an example. I won't ignore you, Jenny. Here's an example of a local creamery, Vanderwin's in Bridgeville, Delaware, and they do a bunch of stuff. So they talk about, they feature their, I keep losing my arrow, darn it. It must be buried under something. But you can see there's just a picture of the sunrise. There's a little bit of history. There's pictures of their cones. So their ice cream, actually shots of their ice cream are secondary to the people. They feature their customers. They feature their employees. They do things with art, like things to do today, wake up, eat ice cream, take nap, repeat. They mix up their content, and they're doing a pretty good job with it. So if you're a creamery and you're not Vanderwin's, you might want to look at what Vanderwin's is doing, or what another creamery or another winery or another wedding venue, a barn that you rent your barn out for weddings. What are they doing? You need to do your due diligence. Here's the other tricky part. Third-party content is penalized. Not another penalty. Yes, another penalty. If you put up YouTube, Facebook is not going to feed it to the same amount of people as if you uploaded it to Facebook originally. Yes, this is true. Same thing with Hootsuite or TweetDeck. They're enormous time savers, but it's a third-party organization. Facebook wants to become the hub of everything. So if you're using those, I love Flickr. I'm a Flickr aficionado. But if I post, hey, here are the pictures of the 4-H achievement event on Flickr, I might get 55 people will see it. If I upload those pictures directly into Facebook, I'm going to get hundreds of people seeing it. This is a real pain in the neck because now you got to do things twice. But I'm just telling you how it is. Facebook prefers you upload directly. So what do? When we create a video, when I create a video and I wrap the University of Delaware wraps around it, I upload it to Facebook, and then I upload it to YouTube. So it's the same video, exactly the same, but I upload it twice because I have YouTube viewers and I have Facebook viewers. And if I want the most people to see that video, then I'm going to upload it directly to Facebook. So this is an interesting thing. Now this is a laughing baby, and it's been on Facebook. The father is tearing paper, and the baby starts laughing, and it's just hysterical. It's one of my favorite ones, and a lot of pages put this up. You can download. So if I wanted to share this video to say, here's just a Friday pick-me-up. You know, everybody needs a laugh. Here's a laugh a moment. You could have some kind of little thing where you do that once a month or something. If you go into YouTube, let me see if I can get this arrow. Oh, my arrow's gone. If you go over to the URL, you will see it says youtube.com/watch. If you put an SS in front of YouTube and hit return, so it looks like this, you will be able to download that video onto your computer, and then therefore you can upload it. Now, I'm not saying you say it's yourself, so this is what I did. You go over here and I'm downloading it, medium resolution, 480. I download it, and then this site here is called Raw for Beauty. They have 346,000 page likes. They are pro-vegan, pro-organic. I watch them because I always want to see how people are talking about agriculture, all views. They are very anti-production ag. They don't believe in chemo. They'll tell people to drink coconut oil. Coconut milk is 10 times more powerful than chemo. They're just that very zen kind of, or everything has to be fresh and organic or it's poison. That's their position. I don't agree with everything they say, but look at the number of page likes that they have, and look at the interactions they have. They grab video off of YouTube all the time. They grab it and they post it on, and has this little puppy has nothing to do with their mission at all. They just every once in a while post feel-good material, and they upload it as their own. They don't even give credit for it. And I'm not saying this video had 128,000 shares. Guarantee you, if you put cute babies, cute puppies, laughing babies, things like that up, people are going to share it. Now, does Extension want to do that all the time? Absolutely not. I mean, it depends on the business and what to me the snoring hummingbird, I could justify putting that up, and I might put something like that up once a month, just to see how it does. But they're grabbing the videos from off of YouTube and they're uploading them, and they're getting an enormous amount of traction out of it. It's pretty amazing, actually. So what I would say to do is, I could share that. Here's the download arrow, so you can actually download that from them. Would I download this myself and put it up? Possibly, depending on the kind of page I have. Or would I share it? If I share it for raw, they're getting the credit for it if I share it. So you may want to consider strategically every once in a while downloading a video, giving credit to where it came from, put the URL in, say found this on YouTube, thought it was great, but upload the video organically into Facebook and watch your stats take off, because this is what, and again, it should relate somehow. If you're a wildlife organization, then you could show pictures of baby ducks floating on the river. You could do lots of things. There was this one post of a guy, this fire company, rescuing baby ducks that dropped into a water sewer thing. a drain. So, I mean, it's something like that that makes people feel good, but this is this kind of stuff that goes viral. And obviously, if you can have your own content, your own puppies, your own cute scenes from your farm, your own personal story, it doesn't have to be professionally produced. It just has to have value to it. People will share it. So the takeaways from this: it's best to administer from a browser rather than an app. There is a Facebook page app, but there are these limitations on being able to comment and skip as your page to another page, so that you know, Colorado extension could like Delaware extension, and Delaware extension should like Colorado's extension page, and we should all like each other. That's a really good thing to do. Never ask people, never ask to have your content shared or liked in the post. You want to tag other businesses. You want to share and engage. You want to share in other people's comment. You want to respond to comments. Your post should be engagement worthy. So vary, play it up a little bit. Just keep trying different things and see what works. And look on pages that have large Facebook pages, like you could, I mean, large fan numbers. So you could have a page that has 10,000 likes, but if their content, you can see how many people commented or liked it. If only 5 or 6 people are liking their stuff, they're doing something wrong. So the idea now is to get it up past 5%. 5% is the new normal. So for all of you who think that, oh, I've got 1,200 page likes, how many people are reacting to that? If it's 10, 20, look at all the people who, they're probably not even seeing your content. And that's the cold, hard truth. Avoid third-party content whenever possible. Does that mean I never post a link to a YouTube? No, sometimes I do. But you just don't want to do that all the time. You want to try to mix it up and use original content whenever you can. Avoid the hard sell. Storytell it instead. Nobody wants to hear, we're the best, we've got the cheapest price. Here's a picture of our store. Here's a picture of our store in winter. Here's a picture of our store in summer. No, go into that store. Focus on an employee. Talk about them. How long have they been with you? What do they do in their spare time? This is the kind of stuff, this is the kind of organization we are. So you're telling a lot about yourself by the attention you give to other people. Behind the scenes peaks. Adopt trends like Wordless Wednesday and Throwback Thursday. Big one, post during weather closings. That's when everybody's on Facebook. One of the biggest posts I ever did was when we had a snow day. And in fact, I used the hashtag snow day, and the News Journal on their end was curating all the people who were using that hashtag. By curating means they're going out and they're doing a search for who's using snow day, and they were compiling stories. Here's what our readers are saying, and they were just collecting anything with the hashtag snow day, and we got in there, and it got posted. So it's a way for other people to see you. So there are some reasons to use hashtags, particularly if they're trending hashtags. Take advantage of commemorative days. This is a website called www.daysoftheyear.com. There are crazy days of the year for every day of the week. So there's the big ones like National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. There may be certain weeks. And then there's days. So did you know that on 10/7, when I started preparing this, it was National Bathtub Day, and I'm going, okay, how can I pitch Bathtub Day to women in ag? Well, if you're a vineyard, you could show your bottle of your wine with some candles, a couple flowers around the tub. Nursery, you could showcase a bathtub with plants and flowers. Here's a little boy who's got ice cream all over his face. He was at a creamery. He's at a member creamery, and he could say, looks like, there's a bath not far behind. So there's all kinds of cool ways that you could connect your national trends and days of the year, commemorative things with what's going on. It doesn't have to be your picture either. It can go to Creative Commons. If it's National Aspen Day, I think they have one of those. So we're on the East Coast. For you Coloradoans, you'd probably be able to get something. Well, what would I do if I were Doris and I was the vineyard? I might put on a ski hat and some goggles and hold up my bottle of wine and say, I'm having we're celebrating National Aspen Day here at Turkey Point Vineyards. Bingo, you've connected it. So you shouldn't be, off the wall. It should have some kind of a connection. And if you're busy or you're on vacation, you can schedule ahead. So Facebook makes it easy. You can actually schedule 6 months ahead. So you could do things like, Happy Memorial Day. Take a picture of your vineyard. Put a American flag out there and a basket with a bottle and some cheese, and then go get word, or you can go into any kind of program and say Happy Memorial Day. Boom, there's your Memorial Day post. You can schedule it 6 months in advance. So, and that's done. So you can do that kind of stuff. The only thing with scheduling is make sure if you said something like, hey, 10% off, and there's been a national, say a school shooting or something like that, you may want to go in and not post those kinds of things when the whole social media world is mourning about something. And again, unfortunately, when something like that happens, Delaware Press Association, for instance, posted a picture when those reporters were killed in, I think it was South Carolina. The girl was killed right on live television, and we just went in and posted a picture of some flowers and said, our hearts are with W whatever station it was and that kind of thing is appropriate. It's thoughtful, but you don't want to take advantage of a tragedy. You also want to keep your logos consistent too. Here's Women in Ag. We're on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and you can see they're using the same they're using the same logo here, same like here with Department of Agriculture, and change up your pictures once in a while. You can change them up. You can do all that kind of stuff. So a lot of cool things that you can be doing, but you want to also advocate your brand. And with that, here's your basic takeaways. This is a great infographic, and I love. So everything on here, these are 17 survival tips for Facebook marketing.
Thank you for watching our archived presentation of our Wednesday webinar. If you would like to see more archived Wednesday webinars, please visit our YouTube channel, or to find a schedule of upcoming live webinars, visit our website.